Simple and clean. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome back to my channel. I know I've been gone for a very fucking long time because I'm very lazy and I've had a lot of life updates. I'm not going to go into it because it's a lot, but yeah, we're back. I'm going to talk about my Natch report. And before we get more into that, I just haven't been too keen on making content because 7.5 was dog shit, set 8 is dog shit, and I'm kind of just in the 8.5 waiting room along with everybody else. So, yeah, until then, I've got a couple things in store for you guys. But, back to the juice of this meat. So for those of you who don't know, we recently had Nationals Bandaicardfest at Dallas, Texas, and I attended it as a representative of Crossing Collectibles. You should check the store out; pretty good. And we ended up making day 2. I wanted to go over, the matchups and then ultimately the deck list afterwards. So for the matchups, we played against 2 Bonnies, 3 Luccis, 3D, 2Y, Black Luffy, 2 Bio Luffys, and then an L. Which is actually, a pretty good spread for us. For those of you who don't know, I took blue-purple Reiju to this event. I was just really comfortable on it. I was thinking about playing Black Luffy, but Lucci kind of just doesn't care. They can just run. They ran for most standard builds ran for TK for Ice Age, so it was kind of just like the +1 almost didn't matter in most circumstances anyway. So I kind of just went you know what? I came from Red Purple Law, so blue purple Reiju was kind of similar in a sense where it's like, oh, found EGG, okay, smack 7, found another EGG, smack 7, you usually win. Same thing with Red Purple Law. If you saw your Kitten Killer, okay, cool. Second Kitten Killer, okay, I probably got the game, right? So I kind of just put that correlation to it as like a a 1-to-1, as in if I see my EGGs, it's the same as me playing Red Purple Law and seeing all my Kitten Killers. So we balled. First round was Bonnie. We took it. I kind of ran through them. I just ignored their searchers and swung face, and they got to a point where they had a really fat hand, and I got the craziest pudding off. And because of that, he didn't really get to see his 2Ks to keep up the counter for when it came late game. Just rule of thumb, just most of the time, depending on your deck, you can just ignore the searchers. If you're playing an aggro deck, you definitely do, because if they're gonna, spend their time wasting resources in Dawn to search for tools using Bonnie or Baby 5, that means they're gonna have, less of an impactful play during the turn, playing 2 bodies on the board because of Cavendish's Dawn refreshing and etc. and etc. So dude had 2-3 searches on the board. I was like, dang, that's crazy. He's searching so much. So anyway, 7K lead. So that's how that went. And now it was a favorite matchup for me. I putting him at an 8-card hand. I got rid of, what, he said 3 aces, a Yamato, and a Katakuri. And I saw 3 EGG, so I was able to kind of just pelt him down. And even after I putting him, it was still a little weird because he kept, top decking into his big bodies. And when I put in his hand, instead of having all his bricks, he actually got a ton of counter, which I would prefer over it. And, he lived a couple turns, but we took it in the end. It wasn't too bad. Round 3, Lucci, kind of high-rolled him. Really hard, actually. I saw, my Porsche EGG combos really early, and he just couldn't keep up with the momentum. He bricked pretty hard as well. Or actually not bricked, but he didn't see many counter. Actually, yeah, I guess it would be considered a brick. Off of his life and off of his draws, he just kept seeing events. He kept seeing big bodies, but he wasn't seeing his Luccis. So he couldn't really get rid of my board, and I kind of just ran him through. Round 4, the BY Luffy. Oh, it God's hands. Literally, I I had a starting hand of 2 EGG sets and like a 2K, and then the next turn I went first. By the way, next turn I went first. I top decked event, did my event shit, found another 2K, swung 7. Turn after that, EGG. Turn after that, I puddinged, because I top decked a pudding after that, got rid of his hand, swung at him again. At this point, he has like 2 cards in trash, 6 cards in hand now, and then like a Luffy on board, and 1 life. So I was like, oh my god, yo, my man's just looking out for me today. So we were able to take care of that. It was still pretty close, because he ended up finding like a Sabo to help mitigate some of my aggression and set up his trash. Man, that matchup is disgusting. I hate it. It's worse than Reiju into Reparable Law, in my opinion. Round 5, played another Bonnie. This one was pretty close. I won the die roll on that one, and I played it really aggressive. He didn't see any of his blockers. He saw 2 Hody Jones, though, which was kind of terrifying, but I had the counter to block the final swing from his Hody Jones, so I was able to dodge losing to that guy. Round 6, I ended up pairing up against the person who ended up going undefeated that day, Eric Quintana. He blew my ass out. No lube. Like, he saw all of his combo pieces. I saw none of my pudding. I didn't see stage till turn 4 or 5. Like, that was just, like, I had to take that as a variance loss. I was upset because, I mean, the matchup itself is, like, insanely insufferable. But, like, what are you gonna do, right? That's just the matchup and how it is. He was a great player, too, so I'm not discrediting his capabilities. But, yeah, sometimes you just don't win. That's just the way it is. So round 7, we played against a Lucci. Also a close game. He actually saw every single reducer card. He saw all 4 TKs. He saw all 4 Ice Age. He was just destroying my board over and over and over and over. But it's not that he wasn't destroying my board, but he didn't see a single Lucci the entire game. So he saw all of his reduction cards. I think he saw a finger pistol, but he saw like no Lucci until the end of the game. So most of the time he was just TKing just to find like tools and options. And I had like 5 cards on my board to swing at him with, and the aggression was actually just too much for him. And I ended up just like kind of full swoop taking him out. The next round 8 though, Jonas, oh my god. And it sucks because after he won, it was a really, really close game too. After seeing his deck list in day 2, because we had access to it, it made me a little more upset because when I went for a game, I had to go for like a perfect lethal, right? Like mathematically. I had a card on the board, I think a queen or an EG, and then I had a EGG in hand. So, I had an EG on the board, queen in hand, but I also had a Porsche and an EGG. So what I did was, first I swung 7k with my Niji on the board to see if he countered. 2k, 1k. Okay. So now he has 2 cards in hand, 1 life, but he has 2 Moyas and 2 Luccis on the board. So I was like, I kind of have to go for game because I only had 2 life and like 3 cards in hand. So my thought process here was, I go 7, counter, alright, whatever. 7 again, and then swing 9 with Ichiji. Because I had, 7 Dawn left? And I could have done that if I portioned into my Ichiji. Actually, no, it would have swung 8. But, yeah, so I swung at him. I swung the second 7k, and he ditched the counter event. So now I'm like, fuck. I actually had 5 Dawn left over. Sorry, I had 5 Dawn left over. So I actually had 8 Dawn. So then I'm like, well, I can't go for a game anymore. Or what I was thinking was I should have gone 8-8, so swing 8 with my leader, leaving me with 4 Dawn left, and then portion to my EGG to swing 8 again. But the sad, unfortunate truth was that although the last card in his life was a brick, the card in his hand was like 1k counter. So he would have had it either way. But the thing that hurt me the most was seeing his list and seeing that he ran 1 0 cost event. So he had the 1 of copy 0 cost event in his hand, and I was like, dude, ain't no way I lost to a 1 of, bro. But Jonas was a really good player. He played it very well. We both played to our heart's content. It was a really fun battle, actually. I wasn't even upset that I lost to him. I was kind of just like, fuck, gotta win the next one or else I'm just kicked out, you know? But very strong player. He ended up going X1, which ended up bubbling me up. I was actually the highest X2. And then the last round was like it was so insanely close. It was terrifying. Like I was like I'm not gonna lie, I was shaking a little bit because I was like, fuck, I can't lose this guy. That one was extremely close because he ended up getting like all his big bodies out. He pulled off like an 8-cost Sabo off me to rip my board apart. And it came down to the last wire of him. I got the exact counter I needed off my life, I believe. And I was able to just like clap back really hard because what ended up happening was he had like 5-ish cards in hand. But the previous turn, I swung 6 at his life with my pudding, and he took it. So I was like, okay, so he probably doesn't have the counter to actually live. Because I actually played the deck too, and there was just so many times where your hand is just bricked up and you can't do anything, or you can't counter out, and it's like, yeah, it's nice being a 6k, base leader, but it doesn't mean anything if I don't have counter to, abuse that, that extra +1 on my leader. So that's just variance, right? It always comes down to that. But after I won him, I ended up getting 11th place, made it to day 2, and I was super happy. Then I advanced to the second day, in which I played against Dylan Zayas, also an amazing player. He was a Bonnie player. This is where my run ended, boys. He just knew. It's funny too. He started off the match. He's like, man, because he was higher seeded, I believe. No, I don't know what his name was on here. I forgot. Actually, no, I was higher seeded, so I got to choose. But he started off saying like, yeah, man, nobody plays this deck. I don't know what to expect here. And I was like, oh, yeah, not many people play this. Just being friendly and stuff. This man played this matchup like he practiced this shit forever. Like, he just slammed face. He didn't even touch my board. Like, he said, fuck control, just go at his face. He just went at my face the whole time. So I was like, dang, it's some crazy matchup knowledge for someone who's never played against the deck before, Both games, I got swept, by the way. The second game, I think I could have actually won and brought it to game 3, but like it was such a hard judgment call that it's insane to call it a misplay. But both games I had slow starts. Both games I didn't see my EGGs until late game. I didn't even see stage the first game. I saw stage the second game, but like after a couple turns. So I just had bad variance both games. So I wasn't going to beat myself up about it. I already made it to top 32, and that was like a big enough achievement for me. Especially at Nats with all these fucking goats running around. So I took it with a grain of salt. But Dylan, you're an amazing player, dude. Can't wait to see you for later tournaments and whatnot. But yeah, that's how my run went. Ended up top 32, popped off, had a fun time. This was the list that I used. A lot of people called me insane and crazy for using the 2K Sanji. I actually really like this 2K Sanji because of his ability to set my top end, which helped me like perfect curve using my stages and Porsches to get like perfect combos off. Because like usually for you Reiju players, right? If you were to try to go for like a Porsche, it's like, oh man, I bottomed all my good stuff. Maybe grab a Porsche, maybe grab a chopper if you're lucky, or a 2K, or you just completely whiff and it's like, man, I went minus. In that case, Blue Sanji would set it up to where it's like, okay, I'll set my top end for if I tap stage, then I can grab like an EGG or a 2K or like a Reiju, and then if I play Porsche, I'll hit exactly this. I'll probably bottom like 3 XS cards. At the end of the search, because you search top 5 and I just searched top 3 with the stage. But being able to carve out my own path of how my searches are going to go is really insanely strong. I ran a 1 of Germa 666 because I kind of just treated it as a 5th stage. I never really wanted to use it any more than just to find stage most of the time, because otherwise it was just a break in my hand. Like, obviously as a trigger it's nice, but it would have to trigger, and unless you're the GOAT at triggering, I'm not going to bank on this getting a trigger effect. I kind of more so want it for its main ability to search for everything else so my deck actually works. I ran 2-2 of the Blue Ranger, Niji, because there weren't too many opportunities where I found myself saying like, man, I wish I had a Niji right now, because he's kind of got like a niche-ish, style to how you want to use him. Or like, he only has a certain amount of target, like Borsalino's a target, Lucci's a target, Rebecca's a target. You can pop searchers, you can pop BY Luffy babies, but like, I don't think they're gonna allow their babies to be out on the board like that, especially like knowing if some Reijus actually run the Blue Ranger. Not all of them did, but some. But yeah, he was kind of niche. 2 of Queen, because Queen's an amazing card. He's basically a draw 3, filter 1. He's also a blocker, which is really important for this deck, because there are a lot of times where people will realize that Reiju is not that bad, because all you have to do is, run her shit down, fucking swing face, monkey it out, and we can't really do much about that. Like, sure, we run a good amount of 2Ks, but it's like, yeah, we don't have that many 2Ks, especially searchable ones, which is also why I like this Blue Sanji, because he is searchable, because he has the Germa 66 tag on him. Or he has Germa in his tag, in his type, so it is affected by King of Germa search. And I ran 3 of Pudding. Oh, also Queen helps us just filter and like dig even further for like important pieces such as stage and like the EGGs and Reijus. And we ran 3 Puddings, although some games I still didn't fucking see her. Because there are just too many decks that just, hand simulator right now. BY Luffy, Lucci, black decks, fucking black decks. The mirror match, green Bonnie as well. Just too many decks that just fluctuate hand size incredibly high, and it's just like, you can't do anything about that unless you get rid of it. Like, hard reset their hand or something, right? But yeah, I had a very fun experience all around. It was a great time. I hope to make the next Nats by... Unfortunately, we only have one regional. We have one regional for the rest of this season, which sucks. Either that or get into a store regional and then get top 4, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, shout out to all the people and friends that I made. I look forward to playing more incredible players. But yes, thank you for watching. That is the video. I'm gonna go more in depth into some other videos, so stay tuned for that. I'm glad to be back. Snap back. Okay, I'm done rapping. Alright. Thank you, and I'll check you guys out in the next time. YouTubers, am I right? Not rehearsing. Peace.